Mm. Yeah, it's always fascinating how we get into or how we end up where we end up. I feel like whenever I ask someone this question, it's never the original plan. It's always like, I started on this path
Mm.
and then I ended up here and then this came along and then I went over here and then we ended up here and it's, this is great.
Yeah.
And it always just leads you to that path that you kind of need to be on. Um,
Destiny.
Destiny, exactly. I wonder if you could explain a little bit about what you do on a regular basis, day to day, either with Canada Basketball or with the Canadian Sport Institute, or whatever teams. I know you work with teams and individuals as well. So, what is your kind of job description?
Yeah. So um, it's kind of changed over the years, to be honest. Largely because of the strong insertion of mental health into sport and into work and anything else. That's kind of, in a good way, created some fogginess around who's doing what and what is the job of the mental trainer. And
Hmm.
so from the very beginning, what I was interested in and what I thought my job was around helping people and teams absolutely optimize their abilities kind of from the neck up. So whatever the domain is, whatever your discipline is, how can we level up that mental capacity to just be world class at taking that breath or thinking that thought on the, when you have a second on the bench, or intervening with your teammate, and just be the best in the world at those skills.
Hmm.
So that's kind of like, in large part, what I do. But then at the same time, what's become really clear is you need a really healthy foundation. You know, you can't go from zero to optimize. You have to have a foundation to optimize on. And that's why I think the comparison to like a physiotherapist and a strength and conditioning coach is a pretty accurate one. There's
Hmm.
certain staff members who are devoted to creating a healthy foundation for optimization to be built on top of. And that's the relationship between physio and S&C is, you don't go from having no foundation to doing like the most world-class strength program in the world. Wouldn't make sense. You get injured and it wouldn't work. So I really see my job as kind of the second half. And I think we need to do a way better job of ensuring the first part is taken care of with as much intention as the second part.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I haven't heard it described in that way, but it makes complete sense. It's like building your house on sand versus a rock. It's just going to be washed away as soon as you start constructing something. Um, so what exactly is that foundation that people or teams or organizations need to be building before they try to get to that optimization stage?
Good question. It is a little bit outside of my scope, I think, but I do have some, knowledge in terms of what that mentally healthy foundation needs to look like. Um, I think it's captured, in large part by general day-to-day wellness and an ability to remain resilient in the conditions that we know are required to start the optimization process. So a lot of things about people's day-to-day lifestyles leading into, say, training camps, the conditions at the training camp itself. There's a whole set of mental skills, I think, associated just with being mentally healthy in those various environments. For you guys as professional players, being away from family and travel and the nutrition aspect of being on your own, all these things that contribute to your overall stability are just as, and actually they're a prerequisite for this optimization stage to happen. But I think sometimes they get chunked all together, and you assume, what, let's bring these a few new players into training camp, and they get there and you try and work on something that would in theory optimize them to be better at basketball, when they haven't moved past the stage of the go to bed and wake up times and the roommate and the schedule and the interviews and all the other things that come along with it. So it's kind of putting the cart before the horse in some cases.
Yeah, that makes sense. And when I watch or read about athletes who kind of like delve into like this optimization stage, taking their game up to the next level, um, really focusing on the mind, it's always older athletes or people who have come to a moment, or maybe it's like an injury or an experience that provoked them to kind of take that to the next
Mm.
level, where they already kind of had that like basis, where they've been around and they've been able to like build those skills. And then they get to that next level, which makes sense because they actually have the skills to take the step to bring it to that next level.